Today we'll break down the 5 most essential exercises every beginner guitarist needs to build a rock-solid foundation. Avoid the wasted time, skip the confusion, and start making real progress on your guitar journey today. We'll start with something very basic and we'll advance a bit in difficulty with each exercise so you can jump in where it makes sense for you and your skill level. By the way, if you're just getting started with guitar or beginner soloing, make sure to download my free beginner soloist handbook that I've put together. It's packed with all sorts of scales and arpeggios and reference materials so that you have it all in one place. The link is in the description below, and it includes much of what we're covering today. Everything we're covering today has to do with individual notes and getting you started with your finger independence and dexterity. Now there are so many other things to cover like chords and strumming and rhythm, but we'll cover those in other lessons. These exercises will all be basic single note picking and meant to get you thoroughly moving about the fretboard. A couple of quick tips so you don't develop bad habits. Make sure to play on your fingertips and keep your fingers curled like this. Don't let your fingers go flat on the neck of the guitar like this. You always want to get right on your fingertips. You'll play cleaner and clearer and more accurately. Also, try to remain parallel to the side of the neck when you're playing like this. You don't want to reach sideways. You can see I'm reaching this direction. Make sure that you're lined up so that you can stay parallel wherever you might be playing on the neck. That just makes it easier for you to stay over the notes that you want to play. Number 1, learn the natural notes on the E string and the A string. One of the most important things a beginner can do is to get to know the natural notes first on the low E string and then on the A string next. So much of what you will do on the guitar will depend on you knowing where these natural notes are, scales, bar chords, arpeggios, etc. It's worth memorizing them and saving yourself a ton of time in the process. So on the low E string, we're tuned to E. That's our open string. Then first fret is F. Third fret is G, 5th fret is A, 7th fret is B, 8th fret is C, 10th fret is D, and then we're back to our E. You should always get to the same note on your double dots as where you started on the open string. Now on the A string, we begin on the open 5th string, then B is on the 2nd, C is on the 3rd, D is on the 5th, E is on the 7th, F is on the 8th, G is on the 10th, and then we're back to our A on the double dots, the octave. Now, a quick tip on how to memorize that. What I encourage students to do is to simply play them and say them. So in other words, hit it, say E, then hit the next note, F, G, A, B, C, D, and so on. By saying it out loud, it just kind of helps you memorize it that much quicker, and this is going to save you so much time. So at least get the 6th string memorized first, and then you can move on to the A string later. The 6th string is going to be the most important for what we do today though. Number 2, the chromatic scale. Now a chromatic scale includes all 12 pitches within an octave. We aren't really going to play a strict chromatic scale, but most of one. We're going to do this to get all 4 fingers involved right away. There really is no need for beginners to avoid certain fingers because it slows down the entire learning process. The sooner you use all your fingers, the easier everything will get for you. Let me demonstrate. I'm going to use my first finger on the 1st fret of the 6th string, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 6th string, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret, and 4th finger on the 4th fret. So play those 4 notes. Then you move to the 5th string and you do the exact same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, getting all 4 fingers involved. 4th string. And as you do this, try to get close to the fret. You can pick up your fingers, you don't need to leave them down. The closer you are to the fret, the easier it is. When you get to the top, you need to reverse it and play 4, 3, 2, 1. And as you get better, you want to make them ring out like this, one into another. That won't happen at first, but as you get better at it, it sounds much, much better. Now you can practice the chromatic scale anywhere. You could move it up to the 5th fret here. Do the same thing. And that's actually a good practice because the frets are much closer. You could go up to the 12th. Because you're going to get different string tensions the shorter the string is when you're playing up higher. So it's good to move it all around. Number 3, the diagonal minor pentatonic. The minor pentatonic scale tends to be the first scale guitarists learn because it's simple and it's used more than any scale for riffs and solos and melodies. Lots of teachers will get you started on the 6th string minor pentatonic, but I'm going to recommend the much easier to memorize diagonal minor pentatonic. With this one, you can simply play the 5 notes in the minor pentatonic on 2 strings. The more comfortable you get with them, the more you can add with the exact same shape. It's a super easy pattern to memorize and use. Let me demonstrate. On the 6th string here, we're going to play the 3rd fret and then the 5th fret. You just play those 2 notes, and then we move to the 5th string and we play 3 notes. 3rd fret, 5th fret, and 7th fret. Now the root of our scale shape here is this A. So the 2nd note of this shape is actually the root of the scale. But the cool thing about it is it's so simple. 2 notes, followed by the 3 notes. So you can practice that to play all 5 notes in the minor pentatonic. Once you get that shape down, play the exact same shape right below on the 4th string. 2 notes followed by 3 notes. Once again. Then you need to adjust for the tuning difference because the B string is tuned differently. So we go up a fret and we play the exact same shape again. 2 notes followed by 3 notes. But that octave right there, that's all the notes in the minor pentatonic. So when you see people playing this one, that is the minor pentatonic scale and it includes those same notes, but that's harder for people to memorize and to play across. You can do it all in that little pattern right there. That's all 5 notes. Here's the whole thing. But keep it simple and just play 1 octave thereof. Number 4, major scales with open strings. Another important part of getting to know your guitar is the major scale. In this case, we're going to look at the 2 most popular keys on guitar, C and G. Now, many of my students learn these notes by sight reading, and it proves very helpful with all kinds of songs they play later that include riffs or moving bass lines, etc. But you don't have to sight read to learn these scales. Let's look at the key of C first. So in the key of C, we have E, F, G, A on the 5th string, B, C, then we have D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So the root of that scale is C, and here's another C. But those are all the natural notes in the key of C. Here's the key of G, which only has 1 different note. It has an F sharp instead of an F natural. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Number 5, a 3-note per string major scale. Lastly, let's look at a movable major scale. And the first note is the root, and that's where it gets its name. This is where it's important to know your notes on the E string, as we mentioned before. If I put the scale on the 5th fret, for example, that is A, and this will be an A major scale. I don't have to think about sharps or flats. I just have to think about that 1 root note, and this movable major scale takes care of all of the sharps and flats. If I decide to move that to a new key, like the key of G, then I simply put it on the G and play the exact same shape, and we're playing in the key of G. These are the 5 most important exercises you can use to get started on guitar, which will absolutely speed up the learning process for you. Doing it properly always saves you time in the end. Now, if you're looking to get started soloing on the guitar, you don't need to be an expert to do that. Beginners can solo too if you know how to keep it simple to end up sounding good. I recently made a video lesson about beginner soloing right here, and you can check that out next.